So we were just talking about, and welcome back, guys, to the after show after show. But we were just talking about the real human interaction, things that you go and say to somebody that you may or may not really like get fucked up. I remember when we were in college. Speaking of your actions affect who you are and whether or not you should drink or not drink, like party drink. We'll call it party drink. Way too much. But one of the things that really stuck with me, like we'd been boys for probably a year and a half at this time, and you like were legitimately because for those of you that don't know me on a personal level, I love picking fights, not fist fights necessarily. I mean, if I got to get hit in the mouth to make a point, so be it. I may or may not swing back depending on if I started it, but if I didn't start it, I'm going to swing back. But I like poking the bear, and I am the bear, so I'll poke me, I'll poke other people. I don't give a fuck. But one of the things, and I don't do it to be harmful. I do it really to bring out that genuine essence of humanity, to learn more about me and the people that I'm interacting with. But I'll never forget, and it was we were wrestling, and as we often did at the house, and I said something to you. You're like, dude, why are you always just a royal asshole all the time? And it's funny, like I didn't make a lot of life changes at that moment. I think I was probably 22, 23, but it stuck with me as one of those things. It's like really, it goes into that whole radical candor. And I think a lot of people, they find out about radical candor being honest all the time, and they think it's an excuse to just go out and be a cunt. Like I'm gonna say what I want, and you know what, I'm being honest, so people need to understand. It's like, well, you can be honest. Like, if you're planning a vacation and it's gonna rain, you can say like, hey, it's going to rain, so there's a lot of activities that you may want to plan indoors versus, well, your vacation's fucked. All it's doing is raining. You're giving out the same information, but the spin is very different, and one is just malicious, being an asshole for being an asshole's sake, and that's something that kind of stuck with me. So that's part of what I wanted to say with you is just like, yeah, sometimes you just have to, why are you an asshole all the time? Take a deep breath and be like, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't be. Maybe
Yeah.
you shouldn't be.
Some people just need that, just to know that what other people are seeing in others that they're not seeing in themselves. I mean, like you said, you're having a good time at it and poking the bear and just, kind of doing like a social experiment, so to speak, with it. But at the same time, what other people are seeing is not what you're seeing, and then all of a
Right.
sudden, yeah, it's just like, man, this. I mean, even like even that, if you don't know a person, if you do know them, it's completely different. But if you don't know a person, you see this first impression, I was like, this dude's a fucking asshole, like, why
Yeah.
would I want to hang around this guy, or even this girl, whoever it is. So it's one of those things that, I mean, we all are boys, and we definitely all know how each other are now, so it's just kind of like, oh, it's whatever. But for other people looking on the outside in, they're just
No.
like, man, this dude must hate his life, or what, we don't know what's going on here. It's like, who hurt this guy?
Who hurt him, and why do they do it so much?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's one of those things that, part of it's, I don't know, human nature, human psychology.
Well,
It's,
but,
it's, uh,
but
it's
being able to
different.
grow from that, I think is the key point. Getting a little older, a little wiser, being better than
Yeah.
you were.
Well, we've all done stupid shit that we're not proud of, and when we're all 22, we're all, it's one thing I say all the time. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago.
No.
I'm definitely not. I mean, I don't think any of us in our friends group are the same persons that we were in college. I mean, we've all grown up in our own ways and went down our own different path and taken on life how we saw it.
Yeah.
Eh,
I think for the most part we're better off than we were. A
sure.
little stranger at times, but we're still better than we were.
Yeah, I mean, we've all done positive things with our life, as far as I know. I mean, those people were having some dark, shady stuff going on. They're not, enlightened the group about. But yeah, I mean, we've all. I think, we all. It was college, man. We all wanted to have a good time. We were having a good time, and yeah, there was a lot of alcohol being drank during those times, in which, most of us are generally be a different person under the influence of alcohol. I mean, not all the time,
Yeah.
but most part. But
I got kicked out of a bar I bounced in. Like,
things happen then. So yeah, we've all grew up, man. We've all figured out like, oh, what do we want, or hopefully we've all figured out what we all want out of life, and what do we expect, and what is our value, what do we value, and what's our code of ethics, you know?
Yep. Do better, be better, and
There you go. Yeah, 1% better than yesterday. That's one good way to look at it, you know. So we got a finite amount of time on this planet, and how we're spending it is something that's I've been trying to become more aware of lately. So as we were just talking about before, it's just like shit. You know, maybe my life could be half over, maybe it's not, but
you never know. And what I can't remember who. It was one of those old, again, like Greek quotes, but it said that a man has two lives. The first one when he's born, and the second one when he realizes this is the only one he's got.
mm,
And I was like, shit.
that's deep.
So you gotta make the best of it because reincarnation, infinite expanding universe, the religious aspects therein. You're only guaranteed from your perspective the one go. So make it good. Make it something meaningful.
Yeah, that's one thing that there's, and when we get off the air again, I'll tell you something else that, I mean, it's not a stress
That's
problem.
that juicy stuff, baby.
Yeah, well, it's not really juicy or anything, but it's just something I don't know, like I said, I don't want to overshare and stuff, but I don't, I'll get you
And that,
opinion afterwards,
well, and I'll sidebar that. It's really interesting how I think a lot of people I'm getting the older generation asking me questions about oversharing,
yeah,
and I'm always telling people, I was like, you have no idea what's on the internet about you. I was like, people know your name, your address. It's not difficult to find your social, date of birth. I mean, I could spend $20 and find out all that shit. And it's terrifying, like your credit score, credit history, spoof up some stuff, what devices are in your house, what your username and passwords are. Like, if you want to hunt and find it, you can do that. But there still comes a point where when you're on camera, when you're sharing, you're talking about stuff, that there's those intimate moments that you're still not quite ready to share and go through. And I'm trying to do the ones from my perspective, for me, that are meaningful, valuable things that people are like, oh fuck, that's awful,
yeah,
or oh, that's really funny. But kind of that like teaching and growth perspective, or just to make somebody laugh and be like, I'm not going to do something that stupid.
yeah.
But
The podcast that I'm releasing tomorrow, he actually gets, he releases, he has a vulnerable moment at one point.
okay,
I mean, he doesn't break down and cry or anything, but he's basically saying, I don't really talk about this a lot, but he had some stuff going on when he was in, I think it was high school or college, and
right,
that's kind of what also motivated him at the same time to start doing different things and learning new things and stuff. But he was, and it resonated with me, like having those vulnerable moments like that, and also being humble at the same time. I think resonates with a lot of listeners because like, we were talking about the iceberg theory. We're seeing people like stars, like those comedians, Joe Rogan, movie stars who, they're like, oh man, these guys are just Greek gods, and nothing bad ever happens to them. But no, they're still.
We know Kim Kardashian fucked one dude and got billions, but we don't know how many dudes she had to fuck before that one to get famous. Like we don't know how many miles of dick she ran through.
But yeah, and it's like, I said, oh well, these people just went through bad shit like everybody else, and just they just, nobody really knows it because either A, they haven't said it, or they just don't want it to be told. But
Right.
I think most people, because like we're humans, we all go through different bad shit sometimes, and like when you notice like one of your role models or mentors has gone through a bad thing too, it's like, oh okay, so it's just not me. We've all, like, how do we handle this? We all got problems, so what do we do to handle it?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, on that note, I think the after show we'll close it up. But again, Chris, thank you so much. So plenty of content for people to listen to your smooth, sultry voice and my audible chocolate. And yeah, appreciate you. We'll keep chatting on some sidebars and learning more. Guys, if you have any questions on how to make a podcast, how to start your own podcast, if you think that you should, first of all, you should. I think, what is it, 4 million, you said? 4 million podcasts are started,
Just keep doing it, man.
but only 1 million are actually still active. So
Just do it. If you want it, just do it, man. Who cares? Screw everybody else. Block out all the haters. Go ahead and start a podcast, start a Twitch channel, whatever it is. I mean, there's a lot more benefits to it than trying to be a YouTube star or podcast star. So
And that's somebody asked me. I think it was my boy Frank. He was like, "Oh, so you want to be famous?" I was like, honestly, I just want to do it for the practice. There's a lot of benefits of being in front of the camera, being comfortable,
sure.
because the last job I applied to was a video interview. So what they did is they actually came on and they're like, "Hi, my name's Cheryl. If you had to go and manage a project and it was in the red, what would you do to fix it? Please respond." And then the video clip ends, and then you have 3 goes, and you have to respond to that. And you record it, and then when you're finally happy with your video, you have to send. Well, I know when I was doing that, if you ask me face to face, I'm smooth as fucking silk with a little bit of lubricant on it.
Oh.
Yeah, I know what the fuck I'm doing. But then you get me in front of this camera, for whatever reason, I got stage fright, and I don't get stage fright unless it's in front of the camera. I think the first time we did Shelor Select, I was fucking terrified.
I'm the same way. Those first ones, yeah, man, they're dog shit going back there.
but they're there, and you take a step forward each time. Like now, I mean, you're fucking interviewing, you're smooth, you're talking to people, you're getting the information out in a meaningful way, you're keeping the timing right. Like it doesn't feel like an arduous event. But
I mean, real quick before we get out of here, but somebody said something to me. Like they sent me a message. They were like, "Hey, man, just so you know that I forgot which episode they listened to, and one of the latest episodes I listened to, or they listened
right.
to. Just want you to know that how much better you've gotten as a conversationalist or a podcast or whatever they said. That meant so much to me that I've been growing and getting better at the same time. And one day somebody asked me, they're like, all those old ones you have up still. I mean, are you going to take those down? And I was like, no.
That's your journey, man.
Yeah, and I want people to see that even I don't know if you want to go back towards like some Instagram influencer, but if you go all the way down their page, probably one of their unless they took them off, but you're going to see like, well, maybe they only got 2 likes on that one, or like how shitty the content was, or the quality was, or whatever. So I want to keep that up as like a motivational factor.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Or that time they went and said.
For sure.
It's again, it's a journey. Yeah, everybody wants to see that Marine who did a 6-7 hour plank. But it's like, what did they do?
Probably longer than that, I think, wasn't it?
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
This was like,
yeah, dude. That's a badass BMF right there.
But I think, and especially coming out of the '80s as a kid, one of the most inspirational things was the training montage. The Rocky, fucking Goku, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and literally the same movie but with different names every single time. It's like Bloodsport and fucking Kickboxer are the same movie. And you know what? I love the shit out of both of them. I'll watch the fuck out of them.
I love Bloodsport.
They're not good films. Like, I don't want somebody to be like, "Oh, you like them because of their cinematography excellent." Fuck no. The dude that wrote Bloodsport apparently lied his ass off about Frank Dukes.
I was going to say that. I learned that the other day, dude, that may or may not be probably...
Oh, it's entirely bullshit, and that's awesome.
Yeah. And I was like, what? I was like, that may not be true. I lived my life by that movie. I mean, I didn't, but I found out that it was...
Damok!
I just think it was real.
Well, yeah, I mean, you hear the story, and it's like political theater. It's not real, but it's what we get to see, and... It's a lot of fun, and I think that there's a ton of value in being able to say, okay, let's go, let's see how they got to where they are, and I think that even like this conversation is much smoother than it was when we were first starting, and we tried some different shit. I still want to do Shelor Select on the road. I want to do like a laptop, where we just sit down and we go to a local business or whatever, and we're just bullshitting out in the great outdoors. And I mean, dude, I'll bring a microphone or something to plug in and just, dude, desktop mic. I got a little stand. We'll hook it up. Yeah. We'll bullshit.
My recorder can do it all. I mean, we just have to figure out.
Okay.
We can iPad video, but yeah.
Boom.
I mean, we can do it easily with my stuff and just.
Shakalaka.
Yeah, man. Like keep feeding us beers while we do this, bro.
Yeah, it's like we're here. we're here at destination to be determined.
Mm.
But
Yeah, if we did it outside, I don't think anybody would have an issue with that. But if they do, then
fuck them, that'd be all right.
yeah, fuck 'em, that's fine.
It's yeah. Not Chris Sheeler, but not Chris Rock. Damn it, Dave Chappelle. The fuck them. That's why. But the old Anderson credo was fuck them. They'll be all right. And I know, like growing up, that was something I heard when someone got like offended or butt hurt, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's the thing now. But yeah, fuck them. They'll be all right. All right, I'm gonna cut us off again. Chris Sheeler, thank you so much for the after show. I think this is like the third video of content, but we can bullshit all night, baby.
Later, bro. Or later, bros. Whoever's out there listening.
And ladies,
And ladies.
I'm gonna be vulnerable. Fuck it. It's all content. So I hit record, and I thought about telling Chris just now that I've been wanting to do podcasting for like 7 years or more. Everybody wants content. Everybody wants to do something that you're like, oh, this is incredible. It's great, but it's like working out. Everybody wants to be physically fit. Everybody wants to be like, oh, look at me, like I am the reason you masturbate. and that's a vanity they're in. Everybody wants to go out and say, yeah, I did this. It's me. And it's the boring, it's the mundane, it's the bullshit work that you've got to do. And Chris and I were talking earlier about how his first couple of podcasts were, they weren't stellar. They're okay. They're a dude, trying to figure out. I mean, dude, how many times have you bitched about your mic not working?
Oh my gosh, bro.
Fucking
out, podcast,
like,
mics go out.
like I just lit up
No light.
my light because you want your face to be seen. The last your week with John W. If you look, and you don't have to look hard, look at my glasses. Like you can still kind of see the shimmer. I was wearing the blue light glasses. You could see everything on my screen in those bastards. And it's a pain in the ass. But being able to be on your shows for the last, like I said, almost 2 years in the previous, it's been fantastic for me because I was like, my buddy's doing it. And it's not that you had some immaculate inside knowledge of how to set up the audio and video. You didn't have $300,000 to put into a studio. Like, dude, the first time I was on it, episode 4, by the way, here. I show up to your house. I'm wearing a red shirt on a red background. I look like Santa Claus just fucked an elf and came in to explain himself. Like, let's just be 100% honest. I was like, big bearded, beautiful. I like to think I'm the best bearded, beautiful bastard in the business. It's a quote, by the way. But I went in there, did it. I was terrified, absolutely fucking terrified, and enjoyed every moment of it. I love. I've never had a problem being. And that's the laughable part. I've never had a problem being in front of people. Never had a problem being like, behold wonderment. Can you hear and see me? Harry Potter quote, by the way. But being able to be on the show, talk through stuff, work with you on things, fuck things up. Like if you look at the you look at the Hades one where the gaming's in the background. I think that's episode 87 or whatever, 89 maybe. We'll have to look through and view. But when you put the green screen in, like we look like the video game, and the video game looks immaculate. It's like we overlaid some pixelations of ourselves and just talked.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Like you're learning this stuff.
Man, yeah.
And I think that
shit up along the way, and learning what works, what doesn't work, and it's fun. At least you just take a chance, and it's something. At least like you said, we took the chance. We heard the gun go off, and it was fun. How we could learn.
And we ran.
Yeah, we ran with it.
You ran forward or backwards, but you ran toward what you thought was safety or survival or, the next step.
Yeah. Everyone's got a day one of starting something. That's what makes things interesting. It's what makes it fun, like you said. And When you go look at day one and go look at day 365, like, oh, yeah, now we're talking. You see where we're learning along the way. So if you're not learning along the way, then there's something wrong.
Oh,
Yeah.
you look at. I'll throw in a vulgar, non-vulgar. So you look at. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's first movie was Hercules in New York,
Okay.
and his speech pattern and accent were so bad that they dubbed over it. So you're actually listening to him talk. Well, you're seeing him talk. You're not listening to him, but you're listening to somebody else talk. And then he got into other roles. A little role called Terminator, which actually Terminator 3 on the DVD. There's a throwback to a dub over, and somebody that has a thick Texas drawl is talking over him. It's funny, and it's only one of those things that like 0.5% of people that know Arnie's career would be like, that's funny. But, watching him in his first movies versus the movies now, like, I mean, he's a confident actor. He's smooth. He's going through it. And his first stuff sucked. Sylvester Stallone, he's the Italian stallion because he started out in porn. And Adrian, he wasn't a good actor then either. Like, I mean, he was just he was putting he was slinging dang. He was putting he wasn't punching the meat like Rocky. He was punching the meat a little differently, if you know what I mean. And it was a different experience. Like that's how you grow and improve. And I think that if you're going to do something and you're going to suck at it, that's cool. Suck at it.
It's okay.
Yeah. And if you're having fun and you're sucking at it, keep going. And if you're having a really, really bad time, like if you think that your shot at stardom is being a podcaster and you do it 2, 3, 4 times and it's just miserable fucking work, do something else.
Yeah, it didn't work. Find something else, yeah. Find next thing you got a passion for.
Maybe you're an engineer. Maybe you're a porn star. Maybe you fucking are a gardener. Maybe you are an auto mechanic. Maybe you're a writer. I mean, there's so many things you can do as a person. And it doesn't mean that, you have to pick and do something just because you're good at it. Like, enjoy it, do it, move forward, and be about it.
Sure. I like that. Yeah. Do hard shit, man. See what happens, man. Just don't do it because it's easy. Do it because it's hard.
Yeah, but do it because it's something that you legitimately...
That too.
I'm going to recant that. Don't do it because you enjoy it. Do occasionally shit that you're not going to enjoy. And the reason for that is it helps make you well-rounded. I started out in my career. We'll do some career shit real quick and then I'll bounce out. But I started out my career and I had to do scheduling because people needed somebody that knew how to put, X task has to be done before Y task. And I didn't like it. I didn't look for it, and it sucked. I tried it out for a little bit, and I was like, well, it doesn't suck too bad. But it really helped define me as like a project, program, and portfolio manager. And it gave me the bones I needed to be, successful in my career personally. So every now and then you have to try something that sucks, but you don't have to necessarily stick with it if it doesn't align with your ultimate goal. And wrapping back, because I like themes, like you said earlier, you want to be a centurion, wrapping back to that ultimate goal, of living your best life, your best health all the way through and making sure that it's something that is a priority and it's complementary in what you do. So,
Sure.
All right, well, if you've noticed now, all of my fans, all fucking 3 of them, will notice that I like to do a lot of talking, guys. So, Chris, if you'll close us out, and words of wisdom from your end.
Well, just like you said, time waits for nobody. So, and as we discussed earlier, we have a finite amount of time on this planet. Do something great with it. If you want to go ask a girl out, go ask her. If you want to go ask her to dance, go ask her to dance. If you want to go start a podcast, go fucking do it.
Worst thing a girl can tell you is yes. Because if she says no, it hasn't changed. Nothing has changed for you.
Exactly.
And if she says yes, well, you got to figure out what you're going to do, what you're going to wear, where you're going to take her. And maybe you're asking out a guy. Maybe you're a girl asking out a guy. We'll go Sadie Hawkins. Maybe you're a guy asking out a guy, a girl asking out a girl. Just somebody you fancy. Say hello. Say howdy. Because what happens if they say no? There's what 7.8 billion people in the world.
Keep moving on with your life and figure out what the next move is. So it's no big deal.
Yes, sir.
So there we go. Do shit, do it well.
Doing it well. Doing it well. Well, all right.
Cool.
I said thank you like 4 fucking times at this point. So, but Chris, seriously, incredible. So, Chris, welcome back. We're always making content, baby. Always, all day, every day. So there's the theory of why being second is more important than being first. And it's not necessarily like coming in second in a race, but it's the second person who does something. And the theory and the practical science behind it is that no one wants to be the first person or the person who is following that. So let's say you're dancing to techno music and you're like, do 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 do, and like nobody wants to be the person that's going out there and being like, oh my god, like look at that weirdo doing that weird shit. And I'm obviously not a trained dancer. I'm not an untrained dancer. I'm just, doing what I do.
Right.
But then the second person joins, and you get 2 people. They're like, do 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 do. Well, then people are like, well, shit, that looks kind of fun. Maybe I should join in. And then you get more and more people who are adopting more of the FOMO versus the fear of being involved. So any person after the second is when you start getting FOMO, but up until that point, you're not getting blind buy-in. So that's really kind of the key point of that. That's that takeaway. So you want to have like at least 2 people involved for other people to see, like, oh, it's not just that person who's being an outlier, but this person's doing it. It looks fun. Well, I don't want to miss out on having fun. And Bed Bath and Beyond, baby, I think has taught a lot of people about FOMO. It's a long-term hold.
Thing. I've never heard it before. I want to take a dive in on that. So
yeah, check it out. It's the interesting psychology. Like everybody wants to be first, but then you become first, and you're like, great, that's first. And then you look behind you and nobody's supporting you in first, and you're like, well, shit, why is nobody supporting me? But then you get that one person that's really supporting you. And then all of a sudden other people see that and they're like, oh, well, these people are doing it. And I think there's also like a number of individuals, and plus, like, if 2 people on a stage do something, but they're the show, it's still considered like that royal one. Like if people are like jumping up on stage, but they're the headliner of a concert,
okay,
everybody's not going to be doing that. But when you get like the person in the crowd, so it's the theory of the crowd watching someone else. It's really the first person that sees them and does the action, and the second person that does it and sees the action. So there's a lot of crowd control theory, and this may very well get this show canceled immediately. But some of the reviews of how Hitler did his speeches were very similar, and
I've heard some of that before.
yeah, his ability to excite a crowd was bar none textbook immaculate. Not saying his message was good. I'm not saying that what he was saying was anywhere positive, but his ability to deliver that message was and is still taught as how you inspire a crowd to do something, albeit terrible in those circumstances. So,
interesting point, man. Yeah, I've heard that before about the Hitler thing too, and like you just said, like not for what he did, but yeah, he could get some people behind him for sure, just on his.
I mean, motherfucker could build roads. Let's be clear. And he could inspire Germans, but again, that's why we do not like to see excited Germans now. It's like, we want to see you guys at the that's a good idea phase, nodding your head, no cheers. No cheers, no indulgences.
That's cool, man. What were you drinking? What kind of whiskey?
All right, so blatant honesty. I'm tired of telling people what the fuck I drink because every time I go to the store now, I can't find it. So I drink gin. I drink lots of gin. Buy gin. Buy all the gin. Do you like aviation gin? I bet you like Ryan Reynolds. Buy gin. Beefeater's good. And I mean, yeah, I'm drinking some whiskey right now. I tend to stick with. Yeah, I'm gonna sound like a dick, but literally, I stick with either bourbon, Tennessee, Irish, Canadian, or Japanese, which is literally all the whiskeys. I mean, Virginia, maybe if Virginia could make some decent fucking whiskey, that'd be nice. They try. But they're sort of like that kid that wasn't really good at sports, but they show up and you're like, fuck, we need a sub. Like, they're not great.
Yeah.
But they do it. I mean,
they're trying.
They're trying real hard. I don't know what the fuck it is. Like, I mean, some of the best whiskey I had was the Jefferson Brewed and Bond. And it was actually a Jefferson whiskey made during Prohibition. It was legally allowed by the government. The vanilla notes on it made it so it tasted better than a milkshake. I told the wife outright. I said, if a bottle of this was available for under $10,000, I'd take a mortgage on the house. I don't give a fuck. I'd buy one. Like it was immaculate. It didn't taste like whiskey. It tasted like a drink that was deservingly allowed to be enjoyed. I mean, it was just crazy. But again, now that every time I go to the store, people are like, "Oh my god, I like good whiskey," and I'm not. What am I kidding? I'm totally the kind of asshole that thinks that I mention a whiskey and somebody else is going to buy it. So fuck them. Gin. Buy tequila. Buy that shit right up, guys. Enjoy it. I like my whiskey. So buy gin. And maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll try some aviation gin.
I've only tried one gin once in my life and I didn't like it. I was like,
I mean, do you like Christmas?
I do like Christmas.
Yeah, well, then get a mouthful of Christmas. That's how, I mean... Hold on. Sleigh bells ring, are you listening?
Thank you, brother.
In the lane, snow is glistening. I drank me some gin and never again walking in a whiskey wonderland. So.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, good. But that's where I'm at. I'm actually, so, long story short, Jameson. So, and I've noticed that as I get older, there's a lot of whiskeys. I mean, I will totally be the asshole that tells you that it's great to get a $100, $200, $500 bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you again. If it's $500, it better be fucking great.
I would hope so, right?
So, I mean, if you buy a bottle of alcohol and it's over $100 and it's not immaculate, it doesn't matter if it's wine, whiskey, and if it's a bottle of fucking water. Like that's $100. It better be
top shelf.
But Jameson, for the price point, as an exemplary Irish whiskey, it slaps. Like you can have a shot of it hot. I'm drinking it neat right now. You can have Jameson as a mixer, and it doesn't overpower anything. And also, like when you have a mixer, you have to think about how much your whiskey costs, because you don't want to have a super expensive whiskey and then mix it, and you're like, oh god, I just spent $50 on a mixed drink. It's like, that's stupid. So, So yeah, I'm having a little of the old Jameson,
Nice.
or as I like to call it, aviation gin.
Jameson, also known as aviation gin.
And we're out.